Adam, if you could go back 5 years, what advice would you give yourself?
That's early 2017. So I uh, got I separated. My ex-wife and I separated at the very beginning of 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 years on, beginning of 2017 was probably when it was at its worst. And it was I have a it's I don't talk about much about what happened, mainly because in any situation like that, you're probably going to have two sides or differing opinions to things, and it's not fair on my ex-wife that I have the megaphone and the platform of Adam Zwa's multimedia empire, but I would never talk in the press or anything about what happened, because there are certain things that my ex-wife and I would both agree objectively, certain facts, certain things happened and all that, but there would also be a lot of shades and nuance and disagreement on things, and it's not fair that she would never get to say her point. But she would certainly agree that there was a period of time there when I was really struggling with a lot of aspects of it. And while her and I now are great mates, and she was over here literally last night and we were cooking dinner with the kids, and she's settled in a new relationship that I couldn't be happier for her if she's happy. And she thinks my wife is just wonderful and couldn't be happy for me. But there was a period of time there when it was really rough. And it wasn't that long after 5 years ago when I was probably at my lowest. And I remember one day I had this, just one of those breakthrough sort of realizations that with anything like that happens, it's not, when something traumatic happens, it's understandable that you're hurt and you're upset, or you might even feel you know wronged or whatever. But it gets to a point where it's no one else really cares anymore, and no one's actively trying to hurt you or anything. And I just had this one day, this crystal clear, the phrase just popped into my head that, Adam, from now, this situation hurts you just as much as you let it hurt you. No one's trying to do the wrong thing by you anymore, whether they did originally. My ex-wife and I disagree on certain things, and that's fine, but no one's now actively trying to mess you around here, mate. If you are still hurting from this, that's because you choose to be hurt by it. Wow. And it took a while to then get over it. You don't suddenly then go, "Ooh, I'm fine," but that began the process of, okay, yeah, let's just empower myself here and get on with things. And I had a partner at the time who was really helpful with that sort of stuff. But if I saw myself in the sort of late 2016, early 2017, I'd just put an arm around me, take me aside and go, "Mate, I know it's, it will get better. And at some stage, mate, you'll realize it's up to you for this to get better. And this is only hurting you as much as you allow it to hurt you from now on." So I eventually ended up giving myself that advice anyway, but I would have ideally, I would have loved to have got it 18 months earlier than I did. And I say it all the time in my kids. I'll see one of my daughters just crushed by something, and you know yourself, look, you're gonna be fine. In a couple of months, you won't notice that at all. And it's easy to perceive that and advise it to others. And we're probably nowhere near as good ourselves in realizing, well, if that's advice you're willing to give your 17-year-old daughter, it works for 53-year-old dad as well, mate. You will be all right. And there's nothing wrong with feeling a little bit upset about something for a while. It's probably a healthy human response. And if you have been wronged, it's good to note that you've been wronged and ask yourself why it happened. And if that goes to your judging of that person's character in the future or whatever, or trying to avoid situations where you're lining yourself up for that sort of disappointment, again, that's great. But eventually, snapping out of it is normally something best done by yourself, and the sooner the better.